and I will tell you when you have a test. You either pass the test or you fail the test. Do you understand?
So, what made you start in the first place, the academy? No, what made you start doing martial arts in the first place?
That's when at that time, that's all I thought about. You know, I was a kid, so I was like, I mean, you always wanted to do stuff like that at that age. That was the 80s, the early 80s, with Bruce Lee and Last Dragon, you know, Karate Kid came out, all that stuff. My father, who didn't really have the greatest relationship with, but he, you know, showed me what he knew and trained with him for a while before I actually formally trained in a dojo. And that was in 1985, same year The Last Dragon came out. And, you know, my whole goal was when I turned 15, I was gonna have my black belt and I was gonna open a school. And I did end up, you know, getting my grand championship and my black belt, but I didn't, or junior black belt, but I didn't go as far as open the school and, you know, went another way. But when I, you know, turned my life around later on in life and never thought that I was worthy to, you know, teach a school or, you know, that I knew enough or, you know, so many different excuses, but it just kept coming to me. So much kept happening in the community. And, you know, I was training, you know, on my own like I do for years. And two things happened. One, really three. One, it was an altercation with a couple people, well, three people. And, you know, it kind of, when you put somebody down, I'm not saying like nobody lost their life or nothing, but it happened so smooth, so quick that it kind of scared you a little bit because you forget you had that in you. At that point, I didn't know, like I had been through so much and, you know, so much failure that when you get back and then your skill is different and it's at another level and you gotta, you know, kind of contain that, you gotta control that. So I started training again, a little bit more serious, formally, outside of just myself. And then, I mean, everything just kept leading back to here, you know, before this actually happened. And I saw it as a way to help the community. What I'm doing is looking for people. You see the people out with the signs. So I don't know if it's back here. Normally we keep lunches. So after, a lot of people don't know, after like the school thing and like the free Wi-Fi, all our extra lunches we pass out to the homeless. So I have been coming way out here for all these years. And I usually load up the van. So I'm gonna hit a couple spots on the way back before I make these deliveries. I try to, I guess, you know, they say don't hide your light. You know, I tried to hide it under other instructors and other this and that and the other until it became clear that it's time for you to step out there and do what you're here to do.
You're going to a national championship. to compete internationally. If you expect to place or to make it, you better be the best. The best you can be. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Who got it?
And I got the blessing from a number of instructors that I respect, and and then I talked to my pastor, and next thing you know, Warriors Karate Academy was born. So I made it Warriors Karate Academy because my original school was Bushido Karate Academy, but out of respect, not just for that school, who the owner has passed, but for another school that's in the area, which I'm not affiliated with, but I know of them, but they have that in their name. So I didn't want to use Bushido. I just played off of it, which is way of the Warriors Karate Academy. And then eventually down the line, some people that I associate with, when we came up with the emblem, my name just came attached to it. EJ's Warrior Karate Academy. That's what it became known as. And next thing you know, that's what it is. So we started from the basement of a church. So we was blessed from the beginning.
Okay. So you're from Columbus?
Yeah, born and raised.
What church was it?
Greater Glory Ministries.
Greater Glory Ministries. Okay.
Greater Glory Ministries, Bishop Alfonso Jennings. Yeah. So.
Okay. So after you started it, well, how was that when you were doing it there? How did that feel when you first started it?
It was difficult. It was difficult. The first year was difficult. The first few years were difficult, especially the first year, because even though there are a lot of similarities, and I stress Bushido and our code, like church people didn't understand that. And even in the Bible, it tells you that people have different gifts. Some is preachers, some, lay hands, some speak tongues. This is mine. And certain people, they didn't understand that, and they feared that change. And I think it was the same type of thing where, we was planted there, but we was destined to move out of there. So we I'm not going to go all into all the specifics, but we it was time for us to go. We started in January 21st, right around, it was Martin Luther King's birthday. And we actually had to reschedule the first class because it was Martin Luther King Day. And which is, ironic with what we do. And then that November, we ended up moving out. But before then, a lot of things happened. Like this, we realized that we had to become a nonprofit organization. A lot of the kids couldn't afford it. I think we was only like $25 at that time. But then at the same time, the bank is like, look, you can't charge nothing. You ain't getting, how you going, So a lawyer friend of mine, he just kept overhearing what we was doing, and he was like, EJ, you're a nonprofit organization. You need help, support behind that. And I didn't know nothing about it at the time. He told me and walked me through the process, and that's when we started that. And because we was running a summer program too. The pastor asked me if I knew somebody who would feed the kids in the summer for their food program. And I'm thinking 2 and 2, maybe I could teach a class there, because I'm trying to remember at the same time, I'm trying to get this to the community. It's a lot of youth that was dying, kind of like right now, and the kind of stuff that's going on, and just giving people a different way. And I'm like, we could do it. We run it as karate camp. And we did all that. The movie of the day, the favorite movie that year became The Last Dragon. Who knew 7 months later we would meet Bruce Leroy? And then we met him again, and then, what we got going on now. And then, you notice through those programs that some of the kids that's coming is only eating at your program, at a lunch program or breakfast program. So, it was crazy. And then even it's not the stereotype where you think, where the media show you that there was, and it's no knock to nobody, but they show you that there was black people. No, these was white people. You know what I mean? That was kids. that didn't have nothing to eat. The thing is, we went from there. We did a lot of stuff instituted that year. We started our first hog roast as a fundraiser. When we left there, we ended up doing a couple moves. We was out at Eastland Mall at Get Fit 41 for a little bit. That didn't work out. And then I was looking for a building on Mount Vernon, and they was trying to charge me, I think, like $2,000. And one of the buildings, one of the guys that I worked out with, he owned a gym. And I think that year I was getting ready for a show. We was, I was started bodybuilding, but it was, he was like, let me check out the place with you. When we went to check out the place, he's pointing to all kinds of stuff that I didn't know nothing about. So it was good that he did that. He came out, he's like, man, forget that. Come out to the gym and, we'll work with you. And we ended up staying there for 3 years. That was iResolve Fitness. So we every year we do the Thanksgiving. We still do that this year. 8 years now, we do the Thanksgiving thing where we, feed the homeless, and I go picking them up because we always want to remember where we came from and give back. So we was there for 3 years. Then we ended up parting ways there. I started another summer camp again, 2016. That's when Marlon came along, and that was at the Community Threads with Pam. And we was there. It was good, but it served its purpose, but it didn't work for us. And we ended up relocating to the best school. That was, it had its problems, but it was good. But the problem was the guy was selling the building. So we ended up, we was there for 2 years. We started to save the dojo thing. And then all of our partnerships kind of ended up coming to fruit. And we was able to get blessed to, find the space that we in now. And now we basically plan it. And the kids, we doing all kinds of things. We got free Wi-Fi, laptop program.
NBC4's Kenya Ramirez spoke with EJ's Warrior Karate Academy and how they're trying to help kids kick it into gear.
Every day, these students learn about discipline, hard work, and how to be a warrior. But in order to learn how to be a warrior, it's important that they practice those skills. And though this karate school may not be open, well, the learning isn't stopping there. As EJ's Warrior Karate Academy has been sitting empty due to the pandemic, Sensei EJ has been reminded of what his school represents.
No matter what it is, whether it's inside the dojo or outside the dojo, you have to adapt.
As students have been struggling to pay for classes, instead of turning away from the problem, he's helping his community in need.
With COVID and the lack of Wi-Fi and lack of laptops, we have space, we have internet, open it up.
The summer camps, we done been all over the country. We got students competing out of the country on the U.S. team, big with the Arnold Breast Cancer Warrior Push-Up Challenge. Just really pushing that mode and overcoming obstacles.
And so many events, once you get in the building, this is your opportunity to check out all of the activities and all the different types of sports, including seeing Sensei EJ with EJ Warrior Karate. So talk about what you're doing this weekend. First, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, sir.
So what can people expect from Sensei EJ this weekend?
I will be busy with my students at the Arnold Sports World Kids and Teen Fest. We have a demonstration where we will be introduced by the Ninja Turtles Saturday morning at 10:30.
Love it.
We also will have another demonstration on Sunday at 2:45 at the main stage at the Sports World. And I'll also be giving up 2 seminars of how to get out of dangerous situations.
That's great. So not only, obviously, karate can be fun and a great experience, but practical knowledge that people can use.
And showing these kids, where I was, you have to understand, when I started, when I was, I think 12, and I qualified for, it was AAU at the time, which they are still around, but it wasn't this. And I remember the competitions would be thick. It'd be 50 kids, 50 people in a competition. And I remember getting first, all 10s, stuff like that. And not being able to go to that next level because I couldn't afford it, or I couldn't. And, my father, he was a police officer. We still couldn't afford it. It was 5 of us. But, and there was other problems in my family that I'm not going to get into right now. But I didn't have nobody like me, so that, you can't we going to get you there. And we take the task to take those who probably wouldn't had a chance, or some who would had a chance, and we get them there and give them that, you know, don't worry about the finance, don't worry about this, get in there and do your thing. And you know, so that feels good. It feels good. It feels like every time, because I'm talking a lot, but in 2014, really 2013 when we started, you know, they do good, they do well at local competitions, a couple out-of-state competitions, but it was time to take them to that next level because they was getting too comfortable just getting gold first, but you're lax, you're not pushing yourself. So that's when I stepped outside of the open karate and jumped into traditional with the USA karate, which I felt was more similar with where I was at that age. So, and it rocked their world. Rocked all our worlds. You know, we went to the Ohio qualifier, got a lot of, you know, strange looks at first, you know, but by the end of the tournament, you know, it was like a Rocky movie. Like literally, I can't explain it. Like the people was really behind us, you know, cheering and giving pointers. And then you learn everybody ain't racist and everybody ain't this and that and the other, you know. You know, it was difficult because the rules was different. But we barely thought we was going to get anything going in there, hopefully a third. They came out with 32 gold, silver, and bronze medals. Qualified for nationals in Reno, Nevada. But when we came back here to Columbus, it just shattered all the dreams because it's like in our community, well, it's not football, it's not basketball, it ain't boxing, like we don't care. We're not going to support that. And that's kind of what we got. So I tried everything I could think of, all kinds. We was even barbecuing in the park, trying to sell stuff up to like the day before. We ended up being in the newspaper, you know, because we trained in the park, but it wasn't enough, and we didn't make it that year. So we fought hard. That is literally 2014 is literally when we started working 6 days a week, 7 days a week, and you know, by choice, you know, they couldn't make it, but that's why people see it so busy now. That's when that started. It's been like that for what, 6-7 years. Like we boom, 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 boom. And it paid off. It paid off. We linked up in 2016, just going to a sparring class, and it was Taekwondo sparring class. And it was nice because, you know, some of the other instructors, they down there with their kids and they coaching them this and that and the other. And me, I had total confidence in mine.
Is that the one footage? The one footage I saw?
Yeah, no, that's later. That's later.
Okay,
so
okay.
That footage was from 2019. But yeah, that's where it happened at. So they went down there to spar. I basically dropped them off. What time they done, I'll be back. And when I come back, they finally sparring, they doing their thing, you know. And I walked up out of there. The instructor came running back up like, look, you got to come back. I'm thinking one of these boys will pop somebody. And they like, he's like, no, the Supreme Grandmaster wants to talk to you, you know, we want y'all to cross over. So I'm, what? And yeah, so I'm thinking we didn't even get to, how we gonna go to y'all style? We couldn't even get to our own nationals. You know, we can't afford it. He like, we'll work with you. So these those things where, not to make it a race thing, but because that's going on now, these other races is reaching out to us, and they made it happen. You know what I mean? You don't hear about this in the news, but they made it happen. You know, and we linked up, we partnered up. Boys went there that year. They got a gold. One got a gold, the other two got bronze. One knocked somebody out like the first second of a match, you know, and just because he wasn't black belt, he got disqualified. He's a black belt, he won. So, beautiful kid. And that springboarded us so that the next year, in 2017, we went to not only the Taekwondo Nationals, but we went to USA Karate Nationals, South Carolina, okay? And then from there, 2018 is where they really blew up. And we ended up getting a grant from the firefighters. And there's so much that happened. I can't even put it all in one thing right now. But we went to, let me see, the Taekwondo Nationals was in Salt Lake City. And then the USA Karate Nationals was in Reno, Nevada. Again, the same place that we didn't get to 4 years earlier. So we got like double. And they donated $7,500. We had altogether, I think, 10 grand, which amongst, how many kids was it? 9 or 10 kids, you know, we needed You know, probably a little bit more than that. But, you know, for everything, because we was on the road for 18 days. 18 days, rent the van. The van alone was like $3,000, you know, and then gas. And then we went out there. They competed. EJ ended up fighting a 7-foot guy, not no 7-foot lanky, you know, not this guy. You know, he's good. He's beating people 50 something to nothing, you know. And first round, you know, I might say his name's Russell. He, you know, he's still around. First round, the guy had 0. EJ had 3. So people was coming around the ring like, what's going on? What he's doing different? Like, you know, it's like Ivan Drago, like he bleeds. But he went, he got EJ, and it's seeing him. It's difficult because 2 things in Taekwondo. Okay, I know what I know, but that is not my style. You understand? You know, I don't have rank in that style. I'm not their coach. So this guy is their coach. So I'm from the outside looking in. I see the movement. He moves right where he's in danger. He should have moved. He moves left, or excuse me, he moves right. He should have moved left. And he ran right into a scorpion. Knocked his helmet off was all he thought, but it broke his nose. It broke his nose. Yeah, so he got stitched up, got disqualified, and we drove to Reno. We drove to Reno. He got actually stitched up in Reno, and you know, we still competed. You know, I didn't force nothing. I asked him, you know, how you feel. He still want to bang. He was off, definitely off, but he still secured an alternate spot on the U.S. team that year. You know, which was great considering. And you know, other people, Marlon, who I think you interviewed, Marlon got bronze. The interesting thing about Marlon was 7 at the time, but the year before, and I should send you a video of the fight, Marlon had got disqualified in 2017 in South Carolina because he just kept kicking the taste out this boy. And they can't make actual contact to the head at that age. So, I mean, he stormed off and everything. It's funny now, it wasn't at the time. But he completely redeemed himself. You've seen the change when Trump took office. When Trump took office, in certain tournaments, you saw racism. Like you heard somebody say nigger. You understand what I mean? Not all of them and not all the people, but certain ones, yeah. So I relocated that year, 2018, to, instead of going here to the Ohio qualifier, and you know, because the directors don't have they can't control the people, you know. We went to Hampton, which is, you know, mostly a black tournament, and we went down there, and he redeemed himself in front of the same referee he got disqualified from in front of nationals, and he basically disrespected and gave him his respect afterwards, but he ended up winning gold.
Look up, Marlon. Jeez. Good job, boy. Good job, Marlon.
He fought beautifully then, and then later on he got bronze again when we went to Reno. So that's that picture you see me with him, and since then we just been going, man. Like we've been all over the place. You know, it's crazy that they met Floyd Mayweather. It's crazy that we got to actually fly 2 tournaments.
Test.
God.
Whoa. To the window.
Look at
You understand? We flew to a tournament. I think that year we was blessed enough to fly 14 people. We even flew in Cheryl Murphy, who's like 17-time national champion, all on the senior team.
My name is Cheryl Murphy. I am from Queens, New York. I'm here teaching a seminar because I've been on the national team for about 20 plus years. I've been doing karate since I've been 6 years old, and I enjoy competing, so I am competing on the, again, USA National Karate Team internationally. I have a few competitions coming up, especially because in 2020, karate will be debuted, and hopefully I will be one of the athletes going to the 2020.
You know, highly respected by us. And, you know, she do a seminar here for the students. We had EJ train with Coach Tommy Hood down in South Carolina. He flew down there. We flew students all to Las Vegas to compete in the U.S. Open, where EJ got gold and Tommy got silver. Marlon got bronze, and the Junior International Cup. That's what it was. So we you know, COVID done a lot to us this year, but we have kept going. We went to Texas, you know, a little bit after the scare, and they trained with Tom Scott, Brody Burns, Brian Hilliard, Brian These are all people that's either going to the Olympics or at that level. And the one got Brody is the Kumite coach for USA Karate. So it was a great experience. A lot of invaluable information that we still reviewing to this day. You know, so I'm really hopeful for the organization. I just want to, you know, I hope that we get the support that we need so that, you know, we can keep it going and we can help more youth out here, because we got a lot of talent, a lot of people that can do things, but they just don't know it. They don't know about, they know about MMA. They may know about open karate, or even if we did open tournament, it doesn't really matter. You know, martial arts, period, just our way of life. And my goal is to be that bridge so that whatever's popping up, you know, we got you, I got you. One of the biggest things that's our hurdles is at this level is coaching. So I'm put this out there. We did the book. I did Sensei Says No to Domestic Violence. That's because back in, you know, after high school and I, you know, went my wrong way, I was convicted of domestic violence. You understand? I made some bad choices that I'm still paying for this day, and that affects my status as a coach. So a lot of these competitions that these kids have won, I'm not on the floor with the other coach. I'm from the stands, or sometimes I gotta be a volunteer just to get close enough to be able to give them some pointers. You understand? I do what I gotta do to help them. You know, I still have my thorn in my side, my sin to remember, and to be able to preach to them, you know, not to do this, not to do that. But, you know, maybe I had my black belt sit in for me, but it's nothing like when you're doing it. You understand? You always kind of looking for somebody to fill that spot. So I've asked other instructors, but it's never been a good fit. You know, eventually, maybe one of them, or maybe we'll come in contact with somebody that could fill that position as that coach for us, for them on the floor at that level. Because once they, we never even expected to get here, but now you got people on the team, you know, fighting against people going to the Olympics. Once they're at that Olympic level, they have to have that Olympic coach. You need a coach on the floor. So that's the next step for us, is me either training or having the funds to hire, or maybe even somebody volunteering to be a good full-time coach that can fit the needs of the kids, you know, the athlete. You understand? So, and at the same time as I say athlete, you got to understand with the environment that we live in, we are training martial arts. So it's not just for the Olympics. I still have to teach them the street stuff. I got to teach them, you know, what do you do if you get jumped? What if you do if somebody got a gun? What if you do if somebody go to swing on you when you walk out? You know.
Yeah. So how is that? Is it different between like teaching them about a competition and teaching them about defending themselves in a everyday situation?
Yes and no. Some things are similar. The only difference is the control. But so some competitions you can't hit to the face. Some of them you can hit close to the face. Some of them you can hit skin. Some of them you can blast them. Depends on who it is, who's repping, or what organization you're under. or what body. Now, how this plays in the street is you have to know the law.
Self-defense is a third party, and that's covered in the Ohio Revised Code. You gotta start understanding what is self-defense. Self-defense is to stop the attack upon you. Once that attack stops, if you continue, now you take it from self-defense to assault, to attack. You don't want to do that.
You can't just, somebody does something, just break their neck. Okay, you're going to jail. Okay, you didn't do it. It has to be a certain protocol. You know, if this person comes to attack me and I tell them, you know, look, I'm not trying to do nothing, or I try to get away, and they still come, then that's almost fair game within reason. You know, once I put him down, you know, if I put him down, I have to either restrain or do something like that. I can't put him down and it's clear that he's down. Okay, so I'm gonna go here and, you know, I'm gonna rip this out. No, you can't do that. You're going to jail. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it all depends on the situation. So what we do is we train 10,000 times for the same event, 10,000 different ways. So this is why the training is never over. All right, because it could be one slight step this way that changes everything. One slight step this way or a look that way that changes everything. You understand? Or the worst thing you want to do is go to hit and you get trapped in your mind thinking you in a competition and you should have knocked this person out. You didn't, and now they got the drop on you. Mm-hmm. You know, that's one of the problems that I learned as a kid. You know, you sitting there fighting for points. No, it's not.
You don't care about that.
Yeah, so you got to be able to differentiate between it. So and you got to have a temperament, because you could be. I mean, it's easy to talk about it, but if it's something that's really upsetting you, and then if you're in a situation and this person done something drastic to you or to your family or just tried to take your life and you got their life in your hands, you might want to, you know, one tiny little thing and boom, it's all over for them and you. But if you have the restraint and you can keep that calmness, then you can handle that with ease and walk away, and they can, you know, pay for their crime or whatever they did. So this is one of the reasons that I incorporate so many different things. It's one of the reasons why I have activities with my students, so I can see how they respond. So I can see what triggers them, see what's working, what's not working, put them in real life situations, just like this COVID thing, and show them that we're gonna get through this.
From smallest to the oldest, say yes ma'am, every last one of them.
Because everything that they feeling, I felt. You know, the temptations, you know, all that's, if you know anything about here, I'm very strict about what I allow around the kids. You know, there's no drug use, no alcohol use, not even a downtime. Other dojos do what they do, but I want them to have a clear mind. You understand, and understand what we're dealing with. So I'll keep going. What is it? Any more questions?
Man, you said a lot. Do you besides the physical training, do you give them any tips on like diet and stuff?
Yeah, that's all. So it's like, I hate to put it into one little like 8-point thing. Mm-hmm. So I heard you ask the student, like, what style are you? And the problem with that is, mm-hmm. Excuse me, you box somebody in when you say that. Mm-hmm. Because they get their training here, but you're going to learn so much more. It's like you're talking about nutrition. Nutrition is vital for your health, for your functioning, for you to be able to move and you know, just stay alive. So we actually, our first year, I used to bring in a guy, I think his last name is Johnson.
Tap water is fluoride being added to tap water. Because the tap water is not, well, the fluoride that they add to the tap water is not calcium.
Steve Johnson, he would talk about nutrition. I mean, down to the markings that's on a water bottle of how many times you should refill it, how many times you shouldn't, and whether you should eat pork or not. So more strictly for our team members. So our team members are people that I've watched throughout the year and I think that they're a good fit for the team. They go through a process from January to about April, and if they pass, first it's on them to take it. If they don't want to join the team, they don't have to, because joining the team is a 50-50, maybe not even 50-50, maybe 40-60 chance. A lot of them are going to quit because you get put under more pressure and scrutiny. And I don't require you to be a black belt. They can be, you know, maybe a yellow belt and still be on that team. But one of the things is nutrition, you know. So when we go to a competition and you go to breakfast, you ain't about to eat no sausage before we go. You can have a little eggs, but you know, just things like that. Now we're not strict to like a drill sergeant. You know, the choice is ultimately yours, but if you want to get the results, then you should follow some sort of meal plan for the most part. But, you know, kids still going to be kids. They still eat candy. We just tell them to do it in moderation, stuff like that. When we have actually when I started the dojo in 2013, at the same time, I had a fitness program, and it was slightly more than I had as did karate, and it was more adults in that, and with self-defense. So, yeah, that's something we definitely involved in, is nutrition. Yeah.
So, you said you did a lot of traveling.
Mm-hmm.
How was that? Do y'all stay at hotels, or do you stay on like a tour bus type thing, or?
No. So there have been times where I have to pull over, because if you driving, I don't know, 20-something miles or 20-something hours or 17, 18 hours, obviously, you know, sometimes we got it where we could get a room, or sometimes we don't. You know, sometimes we got it where we could get when I say a room, I mean between here and the location.
Mm-hmm.
We might have bootstrapped it. When we first started, we went to Iowa 2013 in April, and you know, that was one of the worst ones, because we literally tried to sell candy all the way there. It fell short, a little bit short. But
you were selling it though?
Yeah, we were selling it. We sell candy, we sell waters, we sell Donato's dough coupons. The first few years, that's how we got to Michigan. That's how we got all over. It was selling water, selling candy. We would even be down there selling them, you know, and then go fight. So these kids, you never know. Last year, we raised over $10,000 selling waters. And I have a couple partners, a couple businesses, and they like, look, come out here, like they have here at the Heritage Festival where they do the music thing. And we was trying to get not only the nationals, but we was trying to get EJ. So once you make the team, the U.S. team, you got to pay a registration fee to go, which I think it was $950 for that one. For the Worlds, it was over $2,200. We didn't make it for the Worlds because first we had to pay for, the Junior Pan Ams. So we had to come up with $950 in like a couple days, and then I had to pay for the flight for him and the chaperone. And because, so the tickets was maybe $1,400 a piece, there and back to Guayaquil, Ecuador. And you're looking for chaperones, didn't have one here because I couldn't do it because I had, negative stuff on my record from my past. So I had to find somebody else. We partnered with another guy from a school in Norfolk, a black belt, Sensei Eric Jones. And he volunteered. He said, yeah, I'll go. And he went. So we had to drive down there, meet him. And we literally we were selling waters and stuff. We had their tickets there, one way. So the room was included in the registration fee, the $950 we already paid. We had their tickets there. We needed another $3,000, or it was slightly under $3,000 for them to go. And what happened was, while we're driving, I'll never forget it, we was on the mountain, and I got GoFundMe's, all this stuff. I'm like, I'm gonna get y'all back. I got this coming here, this coming there. Just give me a couple days. Y'all just going down there. And we on the mountain, and I hear that click on my phone, and I look, and you just look real quick, and it said PayPal. I'm like, oh, okay, somebody made a donation. I'm thinking, maybe it's $30, maybe it's $100. I seen that 1,000, and I looked and had to pull over for a minute. It was $3,000, exactly what we needed. Exactly what the person who done it supported us a couple times before and after that, but never like that, and very unassuming. You would never expect who was this person chose to remain anonymous, and I'm respecting that. But they wanted to remain anonymous. They was like had called right before and said certain questions that I thought was strange. It's like, well, why don't you go get you some souvenirs? And I'm like, souvenirs? I'm just trying to get them there. I'm like, think about them souvenirs. This is what we need to get them there. I'm focused on that. I'm on a mountain. I gotta go. And then like 5 minutes later, I heard click.
Yeah, it's trying to throw
the
you
money,
off.
Yeah, just threw the money on there. I'm like, wow. And I had really wanted to go because I still could have went, not as the chaperone, but just went. But EJ had qualified for the first senior Grand Slam in Taekwondo, which is like the top 16 people in the country. And I think at the time he was ranked 10 in the senior division. So we put the money, towards that to help him get there in Colorado Springs at the, not at the Olympic Training Center, but that was at the Taekwondo Center of Excellence, which he went and done that and won his first fight, made it to the quarterfinals. But he had got injured in Ecuador towards the end. It wasn't bad. Well, it was a knee thing, but he got over it.
There we go. A couple technical difficulties fixed. Back to action. Viet Nguyen in the blue. Ellis Jennings in the red. Jennings, great spin kick there. He should receive more points for that.
Yeah,
he should receive more points for that. Let's see if somebody catches it. Yeah, 2 more points. That'll take him to 5-1.
Do you remember a couple nationals ago, Jennings popped out on the scene. I think he was fighting Rusty in the semifinal.
That's right. That was a red belt, Sherman.
Yeah.
That was a red belt. Great memory.
And
wow.
he was kind of from a karate background, a little more unorthodox, but I liked it because he was a thumper.
Yeah, that was a great spin.
It's good to see him here.
Yeah, no, you're right. And he was a red belt then. So what has he done? He's climbed through the ranks, worked himself into a ranking here. Great spin back kick there.
Yeah, nice back
but
kick.
He can really turn.
He turns well.
Boy, the athleticism is evident here. He's turned 2 really good spinning kicks.
Was there ever a time that you just kind of wanted to give up?
No.
No.
There was a time. There's times where you're like, I mean, how are we gonna get through this, or how are we gonna get through that, or how, when the building was being sold and you keep moving and
just frustrating.
Frustrating. Is this working? Am I helping anybody? Is it you feel like it's not making a change, or the kids are not understanding it? Like remember, I qualified for the regionals, which is like me taking them out of this city to the next state or the next few states. Not, they're out of the country and everything. Like, they're doing way beyond what I did. But it's just like sometimes, I don't know. Me, just like with my kids, I had 6 kids, single parent, and every day, at the end of the day, when you shut the house down, you look at your kids for 1 second and wonder if you made the right choices. It's the same thing with the students, the same exact thing. Whether they did something wrong, whether they did something right, you think of the choices, you think, you reflect on it, when you meditate and all these different things. So yeah, I didn't say you want to quit, but you wonder if you're doing the right thing, or if you always check yourself. So, you have that. Again, even when you just asked about like the rooms, we were in Minnesota for the Taekwondo Nationals last year, and this was one where we got a chance to come back for a week before we went to the karate games in Chicago. We actually passed Chicago when we went back. And I remember asking them, what do y'all want to do? Do you want to get an extra room? Because it's times when we packed in a room like sardines. You got people on the floor, everywhere. If you got, you know, girls or boys, you may put the girls. If you got a mom in a separate room or something like that, you got your little buddy system. But you know, do y'all want a separate room, or do y'all want to save the money for? What did I ask? I think I said save the money for Chicago. I think that's what it was. They said save the money for Chicago. Okay, because it was $300 in the budget. I didn't know. Like, it's so many people in the room. And I felt bad because what you do is whoever's competing the next day, they get the bed. You understand? Other than that, everybody on the floor. So, but they made it do. They made it do. And I'm really proud of them for that. And we, like I said, we was blessed the last couple competitions to not have to go through that. You know, if we had some type of budget, which is, you know, hopefully reasons for like this film and other things that we do to try to pay for that, then we can, you know, accommodate even more. You know, not just that. 2016, a lot of people don't know, when we went to Richmond, Virginia for the Taekwondo Nationals, that van, we was literally driving and the door just fell off. You know what I mean? So the door, we had to tie the door together with belts. I mean, we not in no dangerous situation like now. It was secure, but still, you know, you don't have no budget for the Warrior van, or you don't have no budget for this, so you do what you got to do to make it work. And a lot of martial artists that travel across the country, they got stories like this, or, you know, they know what it's like when you don't really have the money, you try to make it work, or, you know, trying to, this kid don't have the money, so we do what we got to do to make sure that they got it, you know. So, you know, it's just a part of it. It's crazy right now, because like I said, in the past year or two, we've been put in positions where we didn't have to struggle as much as we did before. And it's totally different. It's totally different. Yeah. It's totally different when you go to a tournament. The first time was 2018, like I said, with the firefighters. It's different when you go to a competition and you don't have to worry about, okay, only get just fries on a $1 menu, or only get this and you can get, you know, kind of whatever, or only get, or I could take them to a restaurant and they could eat, or it's like it's time. So when we partner up with other organizations and we go to a nationals and they're getting appetizers and they're getting this and they're getting that, and I'm like, look, I got $8 for each one of us, and everybody drinking water, and that's real. You know what I mean? It may not have been $8. I think you know, I misbudgeted that the first time. I think I did $10 or $15, and that's, man. You know, we stretched it. I ain't complaining, but it's still totally different to have that and not worry about, you know, what you're going to eat or what you're going to do or where you're going to stay and stuff like that.
It's like being on a vacation.
Yeah, it's like
about how much it costs the whole
because
time.
it's like it's like the competition. A lot of your competition, not all of them, but some of them don't have to worry about that. They can focus strictly on the competition. Where this child is thinking about whatever socio-economic problems we have. You understand? I don't want them to worry about that. I want them to worry about, okay, their kata, worry about their technique, worry about their strategy, worry about having the right frame of mind before they go in there. You know, worry to perform at the best in the world. Like I said, EJ, he didn't place in the Pan Ams, but then he got invited to the Worlds. The Worlds. That's like for the juniors, that's the top in the world. You know what I mean? But he couldn't go simply because we didn't have the money. The registration alone was $2,200, and I think them tickets might have been like close to $2,000 at that time. I don't know. We needed at least 2 of them. They ain't counting food or whatever. So yeah, just stuff like that. So, you know.
Yeah. So, what would you say to somebody that wants to get started in martial arts?
Do it. Do it. And it never quits. So if a student is with me today and they leave, they could come back tomorrow. They could come back 5 years from now. They could come back 20 years from now. You understand? It never leaves. It may be, maybe I'm not the right instructor for you. It may be, I don't know, maybe it's not the right time for you to receive that information. But it's a way of life. It's a lot of people that want to come in, they want to play karate, or either they want to think they could just come in and learn all these things just straight off the top, and it takes time because it's layers that we're building, layers. I mean, you don't even really start learning until you get to the black belt, and that could take at least 7 years.
Yo, what are those values you were telling them? I don't think that's what you called it though.
So we call them codes. So those are, it's an unwritten code. It's something that we use. Everybody didn't practice them. The codes of Bushido. Okay, so we use them to keep our kids balanced. So one of the problems that you see here in America is you see soldiers going to war and they come back. Not all of them, but some of them may, domestic violence or slaughter their family or just do something crazy. And to them, it's maybe not crazy, but you got to understand that person been through a traumatic event. That person just came from killing people. You don't know who they came from killing. They may have to kill some kids. They may have to kill, or whatever. Maybe they was closely killed. So their mind is not the same. And I don't think that, if you think of the samurai they had, and even if you look at a movie like The Last Samurai, you look at when they wasn't at war, yeah, they was preparing for war, but they also had their art. They also had their poetry. They also had the horticulture. They had different things to try to keep that balance, that peace. And that's what I incorporated to my students, is find different ways to keep peace so that you don't flip off when you do get mad. So you don't just go off the handle, so that you can stay calm, so that you are almost always walking in a state of meditation. You understand? And whatever happens, you just flow with it. You become one with yourself. So these codes include rectitude, veracity, benevolence, honesty, respect, courage, humility, and honor. Justice. It's a lot. It's a lot more. You could go to compassion, sincerity. Like they like to say 7, 8 basic codes, but we put kind of a play on it to expand it, and that's where I came with the warrior words of the week, so that they reflect on positive virtues weekly. When we have camp, when I have more time with them, we do that daily. So they're always conscious of the decisions that they're making, and they have to learn how to incorporate it into their way of life. So, so it's a lot of other strategies and components with that, but that's incorporated into our programs and the way that we develop the Warriors Karate Camp, and it's all the same.
Yeah, so the level that you're at now with the academy, where do you plan on taking it from here? Like, what's your goal from here?
My goal is to, one, expand. When I say expand, is to figure out how to reach nationwide, at least. Maybe one city or maybe one state, and then go from there. I'm not for sure right now. Maybe
you mean get more schools?
Yeah, more schools.
Okay.
So it could be virtual. One of the big things is my camp. So our camp, what I would rather do is, if we was to come into either able to rent a land or either purchase a land and have our own campgrounds, not to disrespect Camp Kern, but make it fully Warriors Karate Camp, EJ's Warrior Karate Camp, and have all of our ideals there and bring in youth from all over. You understand? I don't know if we would connect with counselors or connect to whoever. You have a certain percentage that are at risk, at need, and others who just want to come. You understand? But you have to leave that percentage open for kids that need it. You understand? And get them that way of escape from that 15 blocks or whatever it is that they feel they're trapped in, and show them that, look, these is mountains. Look, we can go over here. You can do some archery. You can get on these horses. You understand? We can come over here. You can go fishing. Let's hop in a canoe. Just get outside your mind. Here, let's do this obstacle course. Let's go over this kata right here on the top of this mountain. You understand? And just forget about everything. Just focus. So these different things, just all types of different strategies. we have that. We want to expand the knowledge of this with the documentary and being able to introduce martial arts and the different components of it to people that may not be exposed to it. There's a documentary by Common called They Fight, and that's similar to probably what we want to do. We want people to see our travels and what we go through out here on the road, and that we want people to see that you have kids. Some of these kids that's out here selling waters, and most of them, probably 90% of them, probably more than that, is not no thugs, not no this and that and the other. They just want a couple dollars in their pocket. These kids sold waters to send EJ to Ecuador last year. They sold waters to go compete in Las Vegas, to go compete in martial arts and fight amongst the best in the country, you know. And you just riding past them. One time we was at the fair, and this guy, he just kind of waved off Marlon, like cut in front of me. And instead of going off and acting ignorant, this and that and the other, I said, yeah, everybody got on their red Warriors shirt. So yeah, he just got bronze at the U.S. Karate Nationals in Reno last week. You should have seen this guy's face. He just dropped. Like, him? I'm like, yeah, him. He's like, wow, congratulations, buddy. So yeah. So showing it, and at the same time, you're showing the kid it's a different way of doing it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I want to expand that. And everybody's not a football player. Everybody's not a basketball player. We have kids that's that, but for the ones that's not too, we here. You know what I mean? And you could be right here with us. So that's basically what I'm saying. To the dads or the people out there who maybe messed up or made a mistake, I did all this and I couldn't even get a coach's license. You understand? But I still got somebody to Ecuador. He was invited to the Worlds. He's got students met Floyd Mayweather, that have traveled all around the country, competing with Tom Scott and Brian Err and people that's on the Olympics, and Cheryl Murphy and countless others, and just regular people just like them, So if I can do it, and I can do this from a church basement in a dream, in faith and belief, what can you do? You could probably do that and more. So, just keep your head up, and as long as I believe if you're on the right thing and you can stay the course, check yourself every day and stay the course, I believe that this could be an inspiration for a lot of people. So that's why I'm here. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
that's pretty much everything.
Yeah, that's it.
Wrap right
that's
there.
it.
Marlon, though. I love Marlon because he always had a
Jay, money, Jay.
5.
Oh!
He got some love.
What's up, Marlon? Let's go, Marlon!
Good job, Marlon. Excellent, Marlon. Let's go. Good job, Marlon. Move. Get back, Marlon.
type of students aren't in school, that or people on the streets, that there's other ways, there's other options. You can do it too. Okay. I was just a regular kid too, and now I'm headed to Ecuador to fight for the U.S. team.